Tiffany. I finally recovered from our saboteur game against the Bored with Life folk, and I'm ready to talk some board games. As you know, I've been playing a lot of oddball aeronauts lately, and I heard through the grapevine that it might be just basically a re-envisioning or re-implementation, if you will, of Top Trumps, which is a favorite like kids game in the UK. It got me to thinking about like other games that we might have known and loved before in our childhood, but now no longer do for whatever reason. Or what about games that designers decided to like, hey, let me just switch a couple things around and make a whole new, better, different game. So we're gonna talk about that today, okay? But first I'm gonna wash my hands. One of my favorite games to play as a child was solitaire, which I guess is also known as Patience. It first appeared, I guess, in the early, no, that's not right, late, maybe, the 1700s sometime, and it's unaccredited, and I'm not sure what that says about my childhood, that I loved playing solitaire, and or that I had opportunity to play it as much as I did, but yeah, let's move on. SOS Titanic came out the end of last year, 2013, I think. It basically takes the solitaire mechanic, turns it into saving people from the sinking Titanic ship. And you would think maybe, hey, Bruno and Ludovic, maybe that's, you know, a pretty sensitive subject. When you play that game, you really want to save everybody, as opposed to just like, I'll put my 7 here, or bloop, 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 bloop. All my stuff goes up to my ace. But they're people now, so they're more real, dang it. Now that I have SOS Titanic, I don't know that I'll ever play solitaire again. Another game from our childhood that has really taken a mechanic and turned it into like a bajillion other different things is Yahtzee. And before, just be like, let me see if I can roll this straight. Let's look at all the awesome things you can do with 5 dice and 3 rolls. Develop civilizations, fight monsters, build forts, fight Cthulhu, govern the Mideast, storm the beaches, dungeon dive, visit ancient Egypt, spend some time in some spaghetti western. See, much better. I'm pretty sure we all had a Nana growing up who loved bingo. I know mine sure did. And at the time I thought she was a little kooky for doing it. I was like, Nana, why are you spending every Wednesday night playing that game? And she's like, it's a good game, be quiet. Now if she were still alive, she would say the joke's on me because I happen to love a version of bingo called Augustus by Paolo Mori. And instead of having some wrinkly old lady yell out, B7, I have a rather handsome, stubbly man on the front of a box saying, hey, come play my game, to which I will. Now that I have Augustus, I guess I can't make fun of bingo anymore. We cannot talk about re-implementing board games without talking about Alan Moon. And I'm going to talk to you about trains, but not in the obvious way. He designed a game called Airlines, and it is similar mechanics to a little game called Acquire. What you're doing is investing in the stock of airline companies. And from there, he's like, you know what? I need some trains in my life. So he designed Union Pacific. And then I guess at some point he's like, actually, airplanes is probably the better way to go with that. So he then took Union Pacific and turned it back into an airplane game. Only set it in Europe and streamlined some other things and basically turned it into Airlines Europe. Huh, how about that? So, had he had automobiles somewhere in there, he would have had the trifecta of traveling games, but he didn't. True, it's a small world, but I think I'd rather play a game about declining European civilizations. If only there was a place where I could find such a thing. Oh, but there is, because the guy who designed Small World before that designed a game called Vinci. It's all about declining civilizations. Who would have thought it? Why would I prefer playing such a game? Because, well, for starters, the information is open, so you have that like attack the winner thing, not just you're closest to me, so ha, coming after you. And then also it's not fantasy themed, which is okay for some games, but I don't know. One of my husband's favorite games is Web of Power by Michael Schacht, and it's set in medieval Europe, and it's church versus state, and I will admit that I am variably good at this game, but I still enjoy it, so that must say something about it. About 5 years, I think, after he designed Web of Power, he designed China, where he just took it all and put it in China, and he took away one of the like intermediary scoring things and changed a couple other things, but not too much. But you know, sometimes changing a game makes it better, but in this case, I guess that I don't need that though. Now there's just some board games that I used to know. Some board games that I used to know. That I used to know. Some board games